Losing at Old Trafford has become such a way of life for Villa fans, you wonder, why bother even getting down about it? I'll tell you why this time. The recurring themes that we're seeing week after week. Presented by the Villa Mad but currently miserable 24/7 services, let's quickly review United 3, Villa 1. Hello from the parlor, in gear from the last time Villa won at Old Trafford. If you're a Villa mom, hopefully the result didn't ruin Mother's Day. Do you know here in Canada, Mother's Day is in early May, which makes sense because then you can steal flowers from your neighbor's garden to put on the breakfast table that morning. I want to start by saying thank you for your loyalty and continuing to watch even after losses. I realize it's not a lot of fun after difficult phases, of which there have been many, to relive a loss, even a draw, and sometimes recently even a win now. It's testing on me, especially after this fixture. We had a chance to do the double over United this year, but we did not. We will continue to wait, as we have since 1955-56. I was actually quite satisfied with especially the first 10 minutes when Old Trafford was very quiet and Villa had the lion's share of possession. That part went according to plan. Other stats that were surprisingly close from Sunday included XG, accurate passing percentage, and big chances created and missed. We even ended the day with the equal amount of corners at 6. I'm kind of echoing Unai Emery's sentiments post-game, satisfied with the first half, but aware that it wasn't enough again. It was very refreshing, bordering on completely shocking, that there wasn't a single refereeing controversy in this game that benefited Manchester United. In fact, on the Ross Barkley equalizer, if the shoe was on the other foot, us Villa fans would have complained bitterly as to how the goal stood, given Onana's positioning. But then when you watch the goalkeeper Lamens, he makes a play for the ball. He doesn't know who's standing in an offside position. He's trying to prevent the ball from going into the goal, and he reacts naturally, which proves that he wasn't unsighted by Onana. Therefore, this was the correct decision. I thought Ross Barkley brought a lot to this game beyond just that moment and the marking off the 1-0 goal as well. But he had 60 passes and completed 90% of them. He was 3 for 5 on accurate long balls, and he won 5 of 6 ground duels. Those are very tidy numbers. He's a composed player who's built rugged. I was surprised that John McGinn started in this game, was happy to see it though, and he did okay. And the good news is that Matty Cash is going to be back either for this Thursday or on Sunday and beyond, and we need him because he has been very effective for us this year in both phases of the game. I'll tell you what, the 24/7 services crew can't wait to get to the job site for the demolition phase this week. I mean, if you're a client lucky enough to be renovating a bathroom, bedroom, kitchen, whatever the case may be, that demolition phase is going to go very quickly because, you know, a lot of these lads do travel to watch those games away and to put a sledgehammer in their hand after another disappointing trip to Old Trafford will do wonders for the nervous system. Oh, and by the way, 24/7 Services has an office in Manchester, so that means yet more inter-office banter again. If you're a United fan watching this, allegiances aside, they do great work, and the number to the Manchester office is on their website. I've included a link in the description of this video. The question that keeps running through my mind over and over: was our October to December a dramatic overachievement by this group, or are we drastically underachieving right now, like within the last 2 months? And the one commonality, the dividing line between those two, is clearly key injuries, and also Donyell Malen. And where Villa fell apart again on Sunday was when we won the ball in the middle third. We tried to break into the front third into an attacking phase. That requires a decisive final ball or a moment of individual confidence and brilliance. It's the same forward players apart from Malen pretty much. What has happened to them? It felt like one of Villa's tactical ideas was to keep United wide, and I think it worked for the most part, even though it doesn't guarantee success because they have a lot of players who can whip in a fierce ball. But we had Mings, and we had Onana and Konza, so your cross is going to have to be perfect like it was from the corner via Bruno. One other thing that actually was encouraging, it looked like the Villa of old, putting pressure in midfield, winning the ball, and then breaking quickly through the central channels. That part actually looked good at times. Forgive me for sounding like a broken record, but when Villa tries to get forward and generate something, anything, onto the opponent's goal, it looks tedious, laborious, and cumbersome, and completely out of sync. And not only did we not generate pretty much anything in this game, but twice we turned the ball over, which led to goals allowed from transition. And I've asked this question once already this season, but what the hell is wrong with Morgan Rogers? His last goal, I believe, was at Bournemouth, which feels like a lifetime ago. I said 2 months ago that on that England plane to North America, Morgan Rogers was going to be sitting in the row right behind Thomas Tuchel. Well, he's halfway down the aisle now. Is there even a chance he might miss that plane altogether the way he's going? Any tactical or strategic planning against Aston Villa right now obviously includes suffocating Morgan Rogers. He knows it, Unai Emery knows it, his teammates know it, which means we need more from the Emi Buendias, Jadon Sanchos, Ollie Watkins, Leon Baileys, and now John McGinns. But most of all, we need more from Morgan Rogers. His numbers were actually better on Sunday. Sometimes it's not that you're giving the ball away, it's when. And the entire sequence that preceded the 1-0 goal started with a feeble giveaway by Big Morgs. I find it incredible because it is so ingrained within the Villa psyche to avoid transitional type games, especially without Boubacar Kamara, because that doesn't suit our structure, and especially at Old Trafford, where they love to counter, and where a guy like Bruno Fernandes loves to punish mistakes. He must look forward to playing Villa every single season, because on Sunday with those 2 assists, he became the all-time Manchester United single-season assists leader in the Premier League, and he still has 8 games to go. He's going to leave David Beckham in the dust. Rogers gives the ball away. That leads to a transition, a chance on goal, and then a frustrating decision by Luca Dean, who uncharacteristically panicked with nobody around him. From the corner, who else? Bruno. And Casemiro, by the way, has scored a few goals already straight from a corner this season. You'd think we'd have marked him. He loses his man, Ross Barkley, and old baby-faced blockhead in his last year with United, then spent what felt like the next 30 minutes kissing the badge and lapping up his moment. Then, at 1-1, a scoreline I would have happily accepted as a result, Leon Bailey commits the exact same crime. Under very little pressure, he gives the ball away, and that becomes the game-winning goal. I simply do not know what has happened to Leon Bailey in such a short period of time, but here's the reality. Manchester United, no European football, and 700 million quid worth of debt, was able to buy Cunha, Mbueno, and Šeško in the summer. Aston Villa, debt-free and with European football, are recalling players who we were trying to dispose of in the summer. So match week 30 in the books, and incredibly, remarkably, Aston Villa somehow still in 4th place. If you were told before the season started, hey, after match week 30, Villa would be in 4th place, we would have bitten your hand off for that. And we keep getting help around us. Newcastle goes to Chelsea and wins. Liverpool allows a late equalizer to Tottenham and drop points. We keep getting these gifts over and over. It's time for us to take advantage. Yuri Tielemans' return will help, but not necessarily right away. Seeing how it's game 30, I like to update these categories every 5 games, and this looks a lot different right now than it did after game 20. If Aston Villa doesn't score first, or if we don't keep a clean sheet, it's just almost impossible to win during this phase of ours. In fact, our biggest problem is we can't score goals anymore. We conceded again from a set piece at a time when Villa has been generally good this year, the first 15 minutes of the second half. But those numbers at the bottom, well, they've bottomed out over the last 10 games. What's now lingering deep in my subconscious and causing sleepless night after sleepless night is the reality that the Europa League may be our only avenue to Champions League football next year. It is very possible that Brentford might end up catching us if this Villa malaise continues, and how important could those 6 dropped points be against the Bees by the time May rolls around? So with a slender 1-0 lead, and just ask Red Star Belgrade how that worked out for them, what will the mindset be heading into the second leg on Thursday? We still have a better squad on paper, But Lille has been good on the road. They were on Sunday. They went to Stade Rennais and won by 2-1 with several key players missing. John McGinn will simply have to come back into this team on Thursday because when things aren't going well, that's when you need the steady head leadership both on the field and off of it. I don't know what else is going to turn this thing around right now because Unai Emery is going to stick with his core soldiers. Watkins will start, so will Morgan Rogers, probably Pau Torres. Maybe it's Luiz and Onana again, given that they're now familiar with the opponent. As much as this group desperately needs a good performance above all else, I'm just not sure if we're going to get that on Thursday, given how high these stakes are right now. And the fact that Lille has to chase this tie, perhaps with some young, effervescent players. And if we do manage to navigate Thursday and move on, we then have another huge game at Villa Park looming on Sunday against a West Ham team that is fighting for survival and in a very good run of form. How and why the traveling support continues to even attend that fixture is a miracle to me. The energy, the time, the expense. I made that coach ride home 2 years ago from a bleak loss at Manchester City. It was long, it was quiet, we arrived home in the middle of the night. I don't know how you do it, quite frankly, but my hat's off. Until Thursday and Lille, stay awesome. Thank you for watching, and up the mighty Villa.